Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Before we start, I want to give our brother on the praises to God.
Hallelujah, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Barakudash.
I want to see the apostles and elders of great minister, all who will shalom, salah, barakah, peace and mercy to your elect. You brothers from the dream, that's true, the church back in the spirit world, because they have our lesson. It's going to be a discussion going into just various topics, tariffs, destruction, and judgment of Esau. Because Trump, he signed a lot of different executive orders. And yeah, now I was riding on 90 East, right? That's a interstate in Ohio, and I seen a billboard that said tariffs or tax at the pump. But that's what the elder brother wanted to go into, dealing with the tariffs and dealing with Trump, because I got the word tariff. If you look at the tariff definition, tariff is a tax imposed by a government on goods either imported into or exported from a country used to regulate trade, protect domestic industries, or generate revenue. And that's what Trump said he was going to do, because his mantra, when he ran in his 2020, what campaign was that? 2020 campaign?
Yeah, I believe it was 2020. I can fact check it.
I think it was 2024, because that's when he was with the rapper Chef G and all them niggas we used in the
Oh, you talking about the most recent?
Yeah, when Trump was the presidency.
you're right.
Trump was the presidency. So, it was a point I wanted to make. The spirit escaped me right now, but you had an article or what you want to go into?
Yeah. I was I lost the article that I had.
Oh, so like,
go ahead.
Right, because one of the definitions of the word tariff generate revenue, and that's one of the what you call it, that was a part of his campaign, Donald Trump, Make America Great Again. So that's a part of making America great again, to generate revenue. That's why they don't have the construction industry and get a contract from the government to build new roads. You know what I'm saying? And different industries in the economy, they'll have contracts with the government. To y'all want to say something, y'all can. I got a little bit more of this too. Fix the sound here. Just turn that fan off. Just turn that one off. And then just check the live. It's on the back right there, right?
Yep.
About to bring the air conditioner back out now. You know what I'm saying? It's just that was the close proximity to it. Okay, so again, I was just reading this definition of tariff, because that's what we're going into in this lesson right here. You're tax. And they did that before in the Roman Empire as well. You know what I'm saying? History repeats itself. Where all should be taxed. Augustus Caesar had the tax. That's why you have the zealots fighting against the Roman authorities and the bullet for the Romans to get the niggas about the holy land of Jerusalem. We taxing the people. That's going to come around again. We living in those days. We living in those times, man. There's certain things that was prophesied to happen in the last days, man. See it again. And then if y'all got anything y'all brothers want to speak on it, I'm just going through the spirit. It says a tariff. Here's a more detailed explanation. What it is, a tariff is a tax levied on goods as they cross national borders, usually by the government or the importing country. It says the purpose of tariffs. Tariffs serve several purposes, including protecting domestic industry by making imported goods, which actually puts a strain on the economy. It don't help domestic industries, all right, especially different, like the different sectors of these domestic industries, like moms and pops. Because when you put a tariff on these different countries exporting their goods into our country, that causes something known as inflation. You know what I'm saying? And that's passed on to the consumer, which is us, which is the American people. They're the ones who basically get the short end of the stick in this situation with tariffs and shit. You want to say something?
Yeah, if I could add to Zaquan, because now what they're saying is that basically the automotive and the automobile industry is going to be tight for certain people that's going to be buying certain parts that's outside of America. If you buying certain car parts that's foreign or outside of America, it's going to be like 25% more expensive because that's the tax that's being put on it. And then you got certain expensive parts that's made out of aluminum that's going to be 10 times more skyrocketed off the roof. And then you need, transportation and automobiles in order to make transactions and in order to, to make revenue in society.
Yeah, because of one of the main industries that's going to be affected is the petroleum industry, with gas and diesel and things of that nature, commerce, nigga, you know what I'm saying? Logistics, goods and services, supply and demand. That industry going to be, you got something? Go ahead, go, get on there.
Because a lot of the economists were talking about how the American citizens don't really know how much they import and how much the things they import affect their daily lives. They're talking about how the economy is kind of like good for buying houses, but with them putting tariffs on the wood, because a lot of the wood come from Canada to build these houses. And the guy who built houses, that's an extra $10,000 just before you even start to even think about building your house. So it's going to affect a lot of people, even the thought of building a house, because $10,000 is not a drop in the bucket, you know what I mean? So those tariffs are coming in, all right, first got all the China, all the people get from China. Hey, let's not forget that we export, or do we import more than we export. So I think that we're going to be getting in from these countries that are putting tariffs on, we're going to affect the American citizens more than what they understand, because we don't make nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is all, a lot of this stuff gonna happen on April 2nd, but mainly as the brother Shamar was saying, April 2nd is mainly like the car parts, okay, the aluminum, steel and all that stuff like that. And America, we live in a global economy. The economy is global now. There's no more just like, okay, this is America or this is the European countries. No, it's global now, man. All right, so and America is it ties into everybody else basically, man. So if we fucked up, everybody else fucked up. Like the saying goes, America catches cold, like how go? America catches cold.
America like sneezes, the whole world catches cold.
There you go. The water you call it. America sneezes, the whole world catches cold. Okay, so these tariffs that Donald Trump is about to pose, right? It's going to affect everybody, man. All right, and just like the brother Donald was saying, this is going to be a it's like, what would you say?
Like Rome. Well, I was just talking about Augustus Caesar with the taxes. I mentioned that.
You said the American people.
Yeah.
It's going to be passed on to American citizens. So now people gonna hold back their wallets, okay? Because things are tight now, man. And if things are tight, if people not spending, there's no money in circulation.
Yeah, because Trump is coming from the perspective that it's going to boost the economy because when you put tariffs on imported goods, that basically it basically persuade the people to buy locally.
Right.
That's basically why Trump is doing. Because he think that the people are going to resort to buying local honey and local, agriculture, shit that's produced in America.
Yeah.
So people, that's why Trump is doing that. But it ain't going to do that because people are already too accustomed to buying shit from China.
Yeah. For a certain price.
And for a certain price, right. And then just the quality of the shit, the quality of the things that's been manufactured from these other countries and exported to this country, like iPhones and shit like that. A lot of it's cheaper and then it's better quality too than American shit. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, your call.
And it's an article from BBC News. It says the headline says, "With Donald Trump's tariffs hurt U.S. consumers." Right? It's going to the point it was going into. It says a lot, but I'm going to get to the point. It says raising prices. It says let's use a concrete example. It says Trump imposed a 50% tariff on imports of washing machines in 2018. It says researchers estimate the value of washing machines jumped around 12% as a direct consequence, equivalent to $86 per unit, and that U.S. consumers paid around $1.5 billion extra a year in total for these products.
Wow.
That's just an example right there about how it'll hurt U.S. consumers, man. At the late, like I was reading through this article right here where brothers was talking, they basically was saying like all the economists, those who study the economy, understand how that stuff works. Like, man, like it's misleading to act like it's going to help Americans. Yeah. Basically, you're trying to be on record talking about, well, it's not a tax on you, it's a tax on other countries. Right. But like brothers going into it, well, they're going to get their money somehow.
Exactly. You got to think about how many people own houses, right? If a person owns a house, 9 times out of 10 they're going to need a washing machine. So they're coming out of pocket for that. How many people own cars? 9 times out of 10, they're going to need car parts for certain things that happen. That this might break down or this might need fixing. They're going to need a car part. So there's a lot of people that own cars because they need it to get around from point A to point B in order to feed their families and support themselves and feed their houses, man.
Well, hold up. Now it's going to be more expensive to get your car fixed now. Because I got you, big up, Slakia. But it's going to cost more to get your car fixed because the mechanics going to feel that urge, or they're going to feel that effect too, man. You know what I'm saying? Because they get a discount, a very low discount when they buy them parts. But since it's getting imported, everything's imported in this bitch America, they going to feel that same effect, man. So they going to be like, hold up now, I got to make profit, man. Because they getting that cheap ass low deduction from buying those parts, now it's gonna go up, you know what I'm saying? So now they gotta pass that, on to you. So everything's a trickle effect.
Let's talk about two things real quick. Let's talk about how the simple consumer, about the American consume a lot of alcoholic beverages. And the imported beer alone, just from buying imported beer from Mexico, is going to be going to generate more money for Mexico because they got to charge more. You're going to the same amount to produce it, but they got to charge you more just because it's going to cost you more to ship it to America, man. All right, and also too, they were also talking about how the American people are not understanding about that specific part about how it's going to cost it the same, but because it's going to cost you guys a lot more, and you have no understanding about how, or are not going to realize how much more you're going to be paying for these products, man. You know, so your simple basic products, things that you think don't matter, like your oil, that be, your Vaselines and your lotions. A lot of those products come from other countries, man, and they're gonna be important in imposing a lot of those tax decreases upon the American people, man.
I wanted to say too as well, these tariffs can also cause an embargo, right? If you go to the word embargo, it says an official ban on trade or other commercial activity with a particular country.
Yeah.
Because you got these people, you got Donald Trump constantly raising, and who knows, the other nations might raise their stuff to the point where an embargo happened where they just, like for example,
usually
China.
you do that because you got something known as a trade war.
Exactly. Economic warfare.
The economic warfare, that's when usually that comes into play because like the brother was going into, it's a global economy. So that's how it is. It's like an interdependent economy. One depends on the other to sustain itself. You know what I'm saying? So mainly they depend on America and their dollar, which is the world reserve currency for now, which we got the countries just breaking off, Brexit, that's in the scriptures, the iron and myrrh and clay. When in that time of the statue that Nebuchadnezzar had the vision of our forefather Yahweh interpreted it for him, man. So we're in that time, but you got something known as a trade war. Usually that's what happened because like the scripture says, when you read it in the GNTA, matter of fact, go to 2nd Ezra, we said what should we say?
Daniel, right?
Salaki. Yeah. Dang. I must have said something different.
Yeah, you said y'all was sorry.
Yeah, Salaki. Yeah. I just think about Joseph Salaki.
But who knows?
Yeah.
It might be the same incarnation. But
yeah, kind. But like I said, it was something I mentioned in the trade war, and then like the tariffs, they usually they generate revenue for the government, which we know who's in. In the government, it's like politicians and billionaires and you know what I'm saying, and lobbyists and shit like that. It's Edomites for money and shit. It basically lined their pockets because they want Because a lot of these government officials and politicians, them niggas be having fucking Fortune 500 companies. These niggas be running whole fucking countries and all that. Companies and everything, making hella fucking money, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that when it says that's what tariffs do, it generate income for the government, and that's implement.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These different politicians, these different lobbyists. You know what I'm saying? Get that scripture in second Ezra, but getting in the GNTA could talk about great political turmoil. You know, because that's going to be a result of these different tariffs. You know what I'm saying? And trade wars. You see? Yeah, that's
What verse?
Second Ezra 15 and 14. Let's read 14 and read down a little bit.
Second Ezra 15 and verse 14 in GMTA. It says the world and the people in it are doomed.
That's it, bro. You know, and this is a sign of that. You know, the world and the people in it are doomed, man. Trump even said that we was doomed based process. That's what Trump said, man. So he knows. Go ahead.
It says, verse 15, the war that will bring the destruction is very near.
Yeah, right. Because just recently, you had that situation with the Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House, and they was talking, Trump was telling that nigga, man, you fucking with World War III, nigga, you know what I'm saying?
You don't have the cards.
Yeah.
That's why they gonna make this a good plan. Because of that pride. That's why they gonna bomb us.
And that nigga Trump, he sounds just like Mr. Burns from the Simpsons, bro. Yeah, he sounds just like that nigga, bro.
God. You know what I think Mr. Burns is? That dude that's buying up on Bill the gates of hell. That's what I'm thinking. Because he actually
one of them
said,
nigga Evelyn Rothschild, he actually looked one of them.
oh yeah.
He looked like something.
Go ahead, Carl.
Second Ezra 15 and 15 in the GMTA. It says the war that will bring the destruction is very near. Nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations. There will be great political turmoil with one group trying to overpower another and gain control while ignoring the legitimate government.
Come, man. So, you know, the different nations and, you know, throwing each other under the bus, because that's how it was during the fall of the Roman Empire. It was just like, you know, with the 12 feathers, when you go into 2nd Ezra 11 chapter, they go into the different emperors or the different Caesars of Rome, and then you go into the history of the niggas was killing each other. You had the year of the 4 emperors or some shit like the 4 motherfucking these Edomites, 4 motherfuckers, they killing each other. You know what I'm saying? Backstabbing, conniving. You know what I'm saying? Plotting on each other to where in 1 year you went through 4 emperors, bro. You know?
I think
so. Yeah, you said what?
What's that, Galba that got killed by Vespasian?
I forget.
That's how he felt.
Yeah. Was that it? That's it right there. Y'all, you got what you read. Alright, come on. This is Revelation chapter 18, verse 17. And it reads, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is unto this great city?
Yes, America, Babylon Great. And that's why it's compared to Tyree, because Tyree had that same economy going, man, as far as delivering goods and making money off of it, man. And America is exactly the same thing, man. Okay, all these nations making money off this bitch. Okay, meanwhile they making them prices over there where they make is dirt cheap. All right, but the expense prices over here is like through the roof. Okay, go ahead.
It says, verse 19, and they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich, all that had ships in the sea
by reason of her costliness.
That's how you know this place is an import,
Yes.
right? Because that's a beautiful point it brought out. The ships constantly coming here, bringing things here.
Yeah.
You know, this place got. And that's why they so mad, because they can't get rich no more.
Because they double the price when they bring that shit here.
But they're greedy. You see, another part of the curse of Satan in the garden, man. About upon that belly that's gonna go.
Yeah.
You know.
For in 1 hour is she made desolate.
That's why they gonna cry. Because they made all this money off America. Alright, go ahead.
Verse 20.
She said he's made desolate. Those roots are going to make this place desolate. And let's link up with Isaiah 13. The Arabians shall not pitch tenure, right? And that goes into what? Them actually being rich, being made rich from the different delicacies here in America, man. Okay.
Jeremiah 51 and verse 7, it says, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Keep going.
Yeah.
Verse 8,
Yeah,
Babylon.
they mad because they
fell for the opium.
there you go. There you go.
They got bamboozled.
That's right.
They was hoodwinked. They was led astray, really though, because it was led astray from their heritage as well, and their nationality and their identity as well. Because you know, like Ishmael, for an example, in the Hebrew is Yashamayah. He has heard of the power. So these nations knew about the Heavenly Father. You got the Saracens dealing with the Persians, you got the Moabites dealing with the fucking Chinese, and so on and so forth. You had the Egyptian hieroglyphs dealing with the Canaanites, so on and so forth. So these motherfuckers, Esau, he tricked them niggas, man.
Yeah. They thought that the Edomite way in North America, Babylon the Great, was a superior way.
Yeah.
That's always gives an example about what they said about their culture and their heritage. Like, look at the way that even like the Chinese, Japanese used to structure their buildings and everything compared to now. Like, you look at, you go say downtown, it's like fucking America.
That's
So
right.
boy, them niggas walk around in Montclair jackets and Yeezys, bro.
Yeah,
the niggas ain't wearing their cultural attire.
Because it was all about a quick dollar, quick convenience, you know what I'm saying? But long term, they realizing that long term we lose, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, like I said, it's buying into the Edomite way. Like,
Right.
Elder Marco made the point, whatever nations and rulership, people look at that as like, that's the proper way to be, because they winning right now, so let's go follow after them.
Right.
So that's what all the other nations did, and they seen it lead to death. And we had, I remember being young, for years they had that rule in China where you only can have like one child. Now they had to revert that because like man, ain't enough children being born. That's the example of following the Edomite way. That's what Esau pushes. He pushes the monogamy and having one wife and having a limited amount of children. That ain't the custom for generations in all these other nations, not just with Israel, but all of the nations, bro.
And you know why it's like that now? Because the women have adopted hypergamy and that successful lifestyle of I don't need a man. Them women over in China, the scriptures talk about now being a partaker of Babylon.
I got that.
We get it.
I heard that on hold. Right. That's 2 Measures 15 and 46. It says, and thou, Asia, it says that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, right? It says, and art of the glory of her person.
Yeah. Don't you know China is the prototype of what America wants to be?
Yes.
Because now China, that bitch is Big Brother straight all day, man. Them niggas got cameras everywhere. You can't take pop a squat. You go outside and take a piss, they know about it, man. Okay? If you digging your nose, man, they know about it, man. Every goddamn thing is recorded over there in China, man. And they got robots that's policing your ass. So that is what they want America to be.
Yeah, and like before I mentioned, like you take a look at the infrastructure, it's like a carbon copy of America.
Yep.
You know
Oh, it's cashless. It's like it's cashless. You can't buy shit over there with cash.
Yeah, and they got social credit score as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They got the social credit score as well.
Yeah, so bringing it back, it says 2 Measures 15 and 46. It says, and thou, Asia, that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, and art the glory of her person. Because when you look at one of the chief enemies of our nation, even King David during the time, one of the main enemies he bore against was the Philistines, which was descent from Ham, and then another one was them damn Moabites. Those are one of the, so when you see the Moabite, them niggas is damn near equal damn near Esau when it comes to like a chief enemy.
Yeah.
That's where our people were going.
They tried to put that curse on Israel.
Yeah.
Going back to Numbers, the 23rd and 24th chapter with Barak. I mean, not Barak. Balak and
Try to hide it.
Balaam.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
He wanted to curse Israel on behalf of the Moabite king, Balak. He summoned Balaam to curse the children of Israel. You know, that shit didn't go in his favor. And the Lord said that, see, these Moabites, when you read Jeremiah 49 chapter, it mentioned like a lot of the arch enemies of Israel, not just Moab, but Edom, it mentioned the Hamites, it mentioned other tribes as well too, man. You know what I'm saying? But the Moabites in particular, man, you know what I'm saying? They had not been, you know, emptied out from vessel to vessel. You know, he ain't going into captivity and shit like that. You know, even at ease, he been, you know, he had his land. He been in his land over there.
Yeah, he always.
He even got his independency from the devil. Because at one point in time, the devil was over all China. There was when he blew up Hiroshima and Nagasaki during that goddamn time. You know, with that shit, the carpet bombing these other NATO and them niggas, man. Them goddamn Moabites, they was in fucking order. They was in check. They wouldn't dare come up against America, man. You know what I'm saying? But now, you know, they got them. Some shit just happened with the Moabites over there in Yemen, cause cause you know the Yemenites, the Houthis and shit, they got agreements with Iran, and Iran got agreements with Russia, and then Russia got agreements with China. So you got the motherfucking Moabites over there in Yemen fighting against the motherfucking these Babylonians, the modern Babylonians over there in Yemen too, fucking shit up, man.
Verse 47, it says, got it back.
Yeah, we was in captivity for 18 years under the Moabites. With King Elag, whatever that fat ass nigga name. Eglon, you know what I'm saying?
I believe in the book of Chronicles of the Kings where when Jacob was being put on the land into the higher grounds, that Moab was the chief one with Esau coming and raid our fucking harvest every year, man. Starve us out. You know, see why, I used to figure like what did Moab do? As I read the scripture on the children eat, and when I came over, like, oh, you motherfucking damn fucking rat-eating motherfuckers gonna get the shit too, man.
Yeah, you always see Moab in relationships with Esau.
Yeah.
They're the main ones.
Yeah.
They're in relationships with them.
I looked it up before. When you look at the so-called, they call it interracial dating or whatever. It's Moab, like I said, Moab and Edom. They that's why you see it at camp. But brother, if we at camp, because where we camp at, it's a agora. It's a mixed multitude of individuals. But you see a lot of Moabite bitches with Edomite men. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, going back to it.
And that shit been going on for decades.
Yes.
Cause I was just had my son, I took him to a doctor's appointment at a clinic or whatever. And then there was this Moabite bitch all in his face, you know, Ophir, my little son, she was just standing, walking around, you know, they be on his dick. She the Moabite bitch, she all this fuck, she all like, you keep on looking at this bitch like, you know, I'm looking at her I'm ice grilling her ass. And then it was the spirit while I was ice grilling this bitch, she was looking like she in her 50s and 60s. She had an Edomite husband. He came up out and he was like, yeah, dear, she was like, you can't sit over here, honey. He just had an Edomite husband. She was like 60 years old.
That's why their skin complexion is like that. Every nation was once a dark tribe, a skin tone, you know. But then Esau started to cultivate, and everybody started brighten up.
Yeah, he actually did that with Cain. Then Cain was trying to get back that color. He married a Hamite woman. Anyway, 2 Nations 15 and 47 finishes it out. It says, "Woe be unto thee, thou wretch! It says, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thyself, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom." All right, going back to you talking about, come on. It says that they may please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. It says thou hast followed her. It says that it hated and all her works and inventions. Therefore Yahweh said, man. Right. So how Moab today would be known as so-called Chinese. They followed Babylon in her ways. They copied everything, bro. The infrastructure, utilizing a lot of the technology, even damn, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the television programs emulated after Moab. I mean, emulated after Esau.
Jeremiah 51 and 8 says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go and be one into his own country, for her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies.
Right, so Trump is wasting his time with this whole thing about the tariffs thing, because that whole tariff thing go back to putting money back into the economy of America to make it great again, which is his slogan. Okay, America's never gonna go back to being great again. Like Brother Paul just read, we would have healed Babylon, but she's not healed. Forsake her. So the Most High ain't got it in the plans of America's future to be back on top again, man. To be at that high level again. This place is going down, and that's it, man. Okay, you forget about the mass layoffs, all right, and that is the equation to this place on this downfall spiral, man. Because people, I'm talking about people getting laid off. You can be at the company for 30 years, your ass getting laid off, man. Nobody is job secure, okay? And now we're at a point where, you know, if the company's being liquidated to the European countries, man.
Yeah.
These places is just gone.
Yeah,
man.
you're right. Cause recently I had watched a video with this channel on YouTube called Free Investing. You know what I'm saying? This economist, his name is Robert Wolf. And he had individuals, and then he'll have individuals like Robert Kiyosaki on there. You know what I'm saying? The Rich Dad Poor Dad author. He was actually a United States veteran. He was in the Marines and shit like that. But he was talking about these different sectors in the American economy, right? He mentioned like public transportation. He was saying that these different sectors in the United States, they get liquidated to foreign countries, bro. Like European countries, German countries. They control it and they own it, the public transportation industry in America, bro. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck, yo? Like public transportation is because when you go into the history of it, it was a white establishment. That's who was controlled and dominated by once upon a time. You know what I'm saying? We're going to public transportation. Yeah. And then now, like American mother Edomites, now they liquidated this shit and sell it off to other countries and shit, man.
For example, the highways that are tolls, a lot of it is owned by China. Like a lot of highways that got the expressways, you go from different states. The toll booths, the money go right to China.
Okay. And that's a perfect example. The Lord talked about he taking away the wisdom from Esau. Like, even though he would like to say these different business leaders and politicians, they look at it as a way to make a profit and put money in their pocket. But it's stupid. Like, why would you give up your sovereignty like that? You know what I'm saying? And have all the other countries controlling your shit. Right. That's stupid.
Right. I got because the tariff basically is what led to these trade wars as a result of the tariffs. And it says, highlighted some points on ChatGPT. It says, you just type in a trade war. It says high consumer prices due to tariffs on imported goods, disruption of global supply chains.
Yeah, like Cuba, for an example. You know what I'm saying? Because at one point in time, Cuba used to export things from their country to America. And the same thing with like Russia. You know what I'm saying? At one point in time, they used to be allies. They used to have trade agreements, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why they put them tariffs on certain companies as well to try to influence trade. You know, to try to get them to do what they want you to do. Basically, it's basically like a strong arm tactic. Like, nigga, I'm gonna put this thing. That's like the mob and shit. You know what I'm saying? They'll have a mom and pop store in a fucking thing and they'll tax them for protection from the other niggas in the community. That's just a straight gangland shit. You know? And what's the first crime family? The Boys Union, the whole documentary about that, the first crime family. Them the same motherfuckers, they just rebranded themselves and got married into different families with different names. It's the same motherfucker. That's why he's doing it. And then you gonna charge Jake with RICO and racketeering and all this organized crime and all this other bullshit, man. Get out of here, man.
What you mentioned was pretty much extortion.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what it is, man.
It says disruption of global supply chains as companies adapt to these restrictions. Slow economic growth as businesses face higher costs and uncertainty. Potential for reduced international cooperation between trading nations. So these are like the results of like the trade war, like how it disrupts the economy. You know what I'm saying? It says it refers to a situation where countries impose tariffs on other trade barriers on each other's goods and services in response to economic policies or actions perceived as unfair. Typically, this happens when one country seeks to protect its domestic industries or addresses perceived trade imbalances.
Yeah, well, that's what Trump, and then you got the Doge and Elon Musk, and they finding all the money that these niggas spending $5,000 on to change frogs into homos and Alex Jones and shit. I don't care what they turn. I don't want to put chemicals in the water to turn the freaking frogs gay. That nigga was funny as hell, bro. I was watching that cook. That nigga like, bro, you know. So like, they was finding all this money, just frivolously spending it, and what you call it, funding these fucking programs and all that bullshit, man.
The concept of trade war leading to a real war is the example of this guy Zelensky. Yeah. Okay, when Trump said, "I'm not funding your weapons no more," okay, because the ongoing war, the proxy war, all right, this dude's still trying to find a way to keep that shit going. So these wars, man, they're money rackets. All right, they money rackets to other people get rich, and they keep, like I said, they keep the chaos going.
What you got? I got Isaiah 19 going into that cruel Lord, because hey, Trump is that cruel Lord, you know, and with these tariffs and all this, we hoping that he bring about World War III. Yeah. You know, this is Isaiah 19:4. It says, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, said the Lord, the Lord of hosts. Right? So the Lord is the one who appointed Trump to do all these things, man, to usher in that judgment. You know? And he's that cruel Lord, like we said. Go ahead.
If I can add to you, man, this man Trump, he got commercials out here, just to add to the point that he's that cruel Lord, he got commercials out here talking about, if you don't leave this country, if you're not of this country's so-called, if you don't leave, we just gonna deport you out. You know what I'm saying? And these are commercials, and they come in very, very harsh. So how much more are he coming out publicly doing these different things? It's all out in the open. Like, it's coming to the point he's showing his horns.
That's right.
You know, and he got Elon Musk by our side. He's showing his horns too. Yeah. With all these different, inventions that's being made, moving digitally. So everything is being basically laid out in the public for you people to see what's really going on.
And I want to add to you as well, another example of how you approve Lord. Under his leadership, now United States prisoners can be shipped to Venezuela. You know, that's another one. Like Venezuela and America is now partnered, so now any prisoner that's in America could automatically be shipped to Venezuela. You see what I'm saying?
El Salvador.
Not Venezuela, El Salvador. Okay.
Oh, I have a precept. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home.
Yeah, right. What's some ways of him transgressing by wine?
By him basically indoctrinating these other nations with his philosophies, man. You know, and first and foremost, doing it by way of business, then doing it by way of indoctrinating these other nations and following his ways. You know what I'm saying? Following his religion, influences, his ways of life, philosophies and things of that nature. It says, neither keepeth at home
Yeah, because everybody into Jesus. Everybody is grape juice drinking Christian. I'm sorry, that shit is a global epidemic, goddammit. You feel me? That fucking Christian, and Christianity, that's a hell of a drug. You know what I'm saying? That nigga say cocaine is a hell of a drug. That nigga Rick James, nigga, Christianity is a hell of a drug. To the point where you got motherfucking Moabites, they believe in white Jesus, bro, and love everybody. You're probably bugged out fucking niggas too, man. You know what I'm saying? That's into that shit all, loving the white man, and we all come get along and everybody coexist. I mean, they got Christianity on every country, on every continent on the fucking planet, bro. You feel me? That's one of the ways that he transgresses by one, you know, cause that's at the highest level, religion. You see what I'm saying? What you want to say?
No, just what you said too. I was watching this little documentary today. And they were saying how, you know, like the Buddhists got their own power, Islam got their own power, like all the other religions got their own power. But within that, all right, a white Jesus is amongst them all. And you don't see like a Moabite being an Islam, you know, you don't see a lot of like Moabites being Islamists. You see a lot of Moabites being Christians. You see a lot of Arab people being Christians, man. All right, and that's that juice, that poison, that being spread across. They said what? And the nation were angry or the nation were mad. Hey, they all sat in bed with each other, you know, man. All right, and now that I'm coming down, and now that you understand that it can be self-sufficient, all right, that it can make their own, you know, have their own economy. You know, the other traders out there that we can deal with besides America, we're gonna treat it fairly, man. You know, and basically, the other countries are not getting the promises being fulfilled by Esau. Because Esau want to take more than what they're giving out.
Yeah, because you gotta remember the scriptures. The scriptures basically talk about well, basically America is spearheading everything. You know what I'm saying? It's the horde.
It's the beast that rises strong.
The horde rises strong. So the horde, if you pick, because brothers, we got the picture, like kind of illustration. It's a woman, but it's not an actual woman in the scriptures. It's symbolic. It's symbolic. But America spearheads the beast, which the beast is the NATO and EU. So those Edomite conglomerate nations that's formed together to create this structure that you have before you, that where it dominates the whole world, that Edomite hegemony, if you will, like Ariala used.
Yep. No, go ahead. Yep.
Well, yeah, that's that beast. So if you look at it like when you ride a beast, right? Like if a man rides a horse, you got the little
reins.
What's it called?
Reins.
And you steering it where you wanted to go. America pretty much, the elites use America as a spearhead to dictate policy and what they're gonna use. You know what I'm saying, at the forefront. And then the mother nations, they joined them to the beast to because they talking about they get their power. Went out with the beast, so they pretty much used as catalysts to boost America's agendas. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got it.
The brother asked for Revelation 11 and 14.
Bring it out.
It says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly.
Yeah, because I was going to speak about the hegemony is these different, what you call that shit, damn. Yeah, like with the Edomites, the Amalekites, and the what's that shit called? Like the banking industry. You know what I'm saying? Like Swift. You know what I'm saying? The Swift, you know, the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications. That's what SIP stands for. Society for Worldwide Financial Telecommunications, man. That's how they control the world as well. Because if you're not a part of the SWIFT program, it's like you
left out.
You basically left out, man. It's like the market of beast system. You know what I'm saying? The SWIFT shit on a large scale, bro. You know.
And that's why you got BRICS arising, the BRICS nation, to combat that. You know, and it's going to ultimately lead to that World War III, because America is not going to sit back quietly while another nation's currency, you know, become the dominant one. it's gonna, they're like, who the fuck are you? You taking my money, then it's gonna have that conflict in place, you know?
Yeah, now, the Trump is coming. Bring that back again.
Yeah, this is Revelation 11 and 14.
Uh-huh.
It says the second war is past, and behold, the third war comes quickly.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so the third world war is about to come. Look, that's why Trump keep mentioning it every trip, man. He keep mentioning World War III is gonna happen, man. Which it is, and this guy, he keep putting that out there about Iran not having nuclear weapons. Okay, this dude over here got the nerve talking about like, yeah, we can't allow Iran to have nuclear weapons.
That's what he said.
We just can't have it.
You just can't have it. That's the end of the discussion.
That's the end of the discussion. Yeah, so it's like, but hold on, bro. What about, and this is of the defense of the small hats. All this is of the defense or the rebuttal of the small hats, because the small hats don't want Iran to have those weapons, so America backs that small hats up. All right, so you can see how this is going on lead and that one too. And this is what's called going on.
That's right.
So my point being is that Trump keeps pushing that narrative of Iran, they can't have it, and small hats, you know, they're generally being pushed forward. It's gonna get to that point, man. They gonna hit this bitch, man. Y'all got it.
And Donald Trump, he's actually saying, I'm trying to stop World War III, but he's the one that's actually bringing it forth.
Yeah.
Just like Nero.
It's like with the Russians, they keep forgetting the Russians back them, man.
Yeah.
That's part of Ezekiel.
Yep.
Y'all got it, man.
Yeah, go ahead, guys. You said you had something?
But Trump ain't nothing but a fucking puppet anyway.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, so he doing the bidding of the elites. We can't. He just like Ronald Reagan and the nigga, the president for Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? They was all actors. Ronald Reagan, he was an actor. He making he like going viral on the internet. I don't know if you seen it. The nigga Ronald Reagan, when he slapped the bitch, he told her to go to the hotel, bro. She was like, I like it here. That nigga said, I know how to change things. He got up and backhand the whole. Ronald Reagan to the room. Yeah, Ronald Reagan. You know what I'm saying? So Trump, he just doing the bidding of the elites, man. You know, he getting marching orders.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know what I'm saying?
What's up? Talking about Trump?
You was talking about something. You still.
Yeah, I was talking about Trump. How Trump is going to actually lead the World War III, just like he was the cause of the downfall of Rome, right? He was trying to build Rome up, but ended up destroying it. And that's what the same thing going to do now, man, because he is Nero. You know, we believe he's Nero through the Spirit. Y'all got it.
Go ahead.
Just to finish this out, Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home.
Right, part of his what? No, matter of fact, let me finish the verse off.
Who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Yeah, the part of him not keeping at home is what this nigga got his military spread across the damn four corners of the globe, man. It's the same thing with the Roman Empire, bro. They spread their military.
Garrisons.
Yeah,
They got garrisons on all the continents.
Like the elder brother was saying, they had them garrisons. Which the garrisons is pretty much you sending like a small
Military
unit to occupy a landmass. So if any situations uprising or they can quarrel it. They can put it down. A resistance comes like, hey man, we got the garrisons over there. You know, they make sure that shit gets squashed.
Yeah, that's what like a precinct is. The police precinct is. It's like the modern day garrison. That's why we going to like the military campaign of David. He was taking down the Moabites, put their ass in a line, 3 lines, 10,000 pump.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, put their ass in a line, keep some of them alive, kill the rest. But David put garrisons in Edom. He put garrisons in all those countries that he conquered.
Right, so that's a good point that you made, because what the police do when a problem happens, they come and check that shit.
Yeah.
That's where he's trying to get it from. That's why everybody always reiterates, he goes into it, that Esau will go into a kingdom like we don't want the whole country, but let's put a little tent right here.
Yeah.
All right, but this little area where our tents are, we can put tanks, we can put artillery and all that, just in case.
Yeah.
Because they disguise themselves in these other countries as something known as U.S. embassy.
Delegates.
And that U.S. embassy, that's actually United States land.
Right.
When they set it up, when they set those embassies up, that's United States land at that point. So
and it's occupied by the U.S. military. It ain't no fucking police force. It's actually military personnel at the U.S. embassy, dog.
And then you just made a hell of a good point, because just like if you come to that embassy, you're protected.
Yes.
Ain't no shit you can do.
You get asylum there.
Bad Boys too.
Yeah, that's what they went to. That nigga Mark, they was driving that Hummer. They drove to the embassy.
So if it's somebody that's, let's say, part of the other nation, but they in cahoots with America, they can run and feed and get sanctioned there. You know what I'm saying? With their government secrets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's United States property there. Anytime they set up the tent, that has become United States.
Yeah,
That's in their mind.
They Call of Duty. They be having a lot of the embassies set up in the different lands, and they be military bases, basically. You know what I'm saying?
That's all it is.
Yeah, that shit crazy.
And then to the latter end of that verse, Brother Shamari read, when it says he heapeth up to himself all nations, it's him what? Going into these land masses and then pretty much converting them over to like the Edomite way. You know what I'm saying? Showing them, okay, this is that's the whole point of this nigga setting up puppet leaders, man. A puppet leader is that's what the nigga Haman was, man. The nigga Haman was a fucking puppet leader. When you read the book of Esther, this nigga was sent over there covertly to overthrow the Persian, Medo-Persian Empire, man. And then it was two of those men that got hit to the nigga. You know what I'm saying? And then you know what I'm saying?
This nigga ain't no time.
Yeah, this nigga ain't with us. He trying to overthrow you. You know what I'm saying? So then Xerxes got hit to it. You know what I'm saying? Like boom, boom, boom. And he told him like, man, ain't that nigga, man. You trying to overthrow me? Ain't that nigga, man.
Yeah, you mentioned the latter part of that verse about him trying to heap it to himself all people.
Yeah.
You know, and you said that he pushes. I was gonna add to you democracy.
Yeah.
You know, he pushes democracy upon these other nations, and
Yes.
even influences them to come join. You know, the states. This is why America's a seat pot. But you know, I was looking up something recently dealing with Greece. They were saying that that's like the beginning of the democracy being instilled. You know, dealing with ancient Greece, man. You know,
One of the words, one of the other names for the Statue of Liberty is a mother of exiles. All right, so funny how they sit there, all right, during the time of this, the receiving of the gift from Britain, the Statue of Liberty. All right,
You got a grand
France, you're right. Like, Britain, France, England, are all the same fucking motherfuckers, man. All right, but it said bring me your exiles, man, right? You're hurting all that, right? But now that they're here, all right, and now that you see that you still got that Albert extended, now you want them out. All right, and what Esau has done, he deceived you, thinking that this is like really ancient Egypt. All right, where the land is flowing of milk and honey. But as you come to America, you're working twice, 3 times as hard as you have done in your other country just to be a lower class citizen than you were in the country that you left from, man.
Yeah, if I could add, see, that's what a lot of people, they started to find out. They find out that you ain't nothing but a number. Even these heathens, bro. You know what I'm saying? These Edomites, the damn Moabites, all these motherfuckers that's over here in this country, they find out they're a number and that they really being used to promote what the system, the beast. They don't give a damn about you. They replace you with computers.
Listen, they found it out throughout the layoffs. All these Edomites that's making videos, they say I've been in this company for this amount of time. You know what I'm saying? They don't give a fuck about me. You know, I'm not going to invest my personal life into basically the company because they replace me just like that. Or either the AI or a foreigner. So people, just like you said, they finding that shit out, man. Like you're nothing. You're irreplaceable. Like, I mean, not irreplaceable, you're a number.
Yeah, you're expendable.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah, they have that movie Expendable. But, you know, just like these different companies, like Amazon. You know what I'm saying? It's like a revolving door of employees, bro.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? People go and come in that motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Just continuously, man. You know what I'm saying? So many people go and come from different companies like that, man. You know, because they don't value their employees either. That's why the majority of the employees that drive for Amazon, they actually independent contractors. Amazon, they found the loophole to where, huh?
You just want something about attention.
Go ahead.
Even the TikTok videos, here it is, the employee, they could be doing a perfect job. If the numbers ain't there, your ass is gone, man. If they trying to hear none of that shit about you being a good employee, they say, listen, such and such, we need you to pack your stuff and get out of here. And then you're like, what the fuck? They don't give a fuck if you got kids, if you got mortgage, you got house, them do what you got going on.
I used to work there.
Your ass is gone, man. The numbers ain't there.
I know for a fact. I used to work there.
Yeah, and then like I was saying, in order to cover, you know, like Amazon, the company or the organization, they actually employ drivers as independent contractors on the 1099. So when these different drivers, they get in car accidents and shit, like say if they in an Amazon truck, they could be in an Amazon vehicle and they crash into a motherfucking civilian or a pedestrian. The pedestrian, they can't go after Amazon. They gotta go out. They go after the fucking nigga who's driving or the company that the logistics company that he worked for that got a contract with Amazon. I seen a whole fucking documentary about that. They hate Amazon for that, bro. I'm talking about because this how you know when the organization is hated by the civilians, when they start a fucking union. And when they get a fucking union and come together, that's how you know those people, they hate them. And then another point is because they come into the realization of how important they are to the company. Like nigga, well we gonna strike on you motherfuckers. Since y'all don't take us seriously as employees, we the ones who make this company run. And people come to the realization, and then they fucking form a union, and then that's when they come down at the negotiators, the Amazon representatives. They're the fucking Amazon representatives, and then the nigga who represent what's the one niggas from back in the days with the mob? What's they thing that the Teamsters, the motherfucking Amazon representatives, they come to the bargaining table, because that's what it is, a bargaining agreement, man. Fuck you, devil.
That's like the nations, man. You know, the ones that the nations outside of America, man. Same thing. You know what I'm saying? Same thing.
They tired of America, man.
They sick of this.
People are at a point where this is where you get the rebellions from. You get those rebellions and the uproars, t-shirts about the uproars of the people, because people get tired of the elites of whatever society that was in ruling. Because they don't give a fuck about the common people, man. Here it is, nigga, you up there, you slanging around turkey and $1,000 bread, and you know what I'm saying. And then you looking at the bottom of the people. You know what I'm saying? You got your loft, your expensive ass loft on the 67th floor in New York. And you look at these guys. You know what I'm saying? And you just,
that's when you get the class wars.
Yeah.
You know, every time the rich get too big, you will have the poor come and humble their ass.
And they show you in the movie, what's that one with Batman?
The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight? That's the shit, bro. Especially the part when they let all the prisoners out. When that nigga Bane went through Gotham City.
Blood will be shed.
Blood will be shed.
He said the rich will be ripped from their negative places and cast into the cold world that we know we endure.
There you go. And that's the point right there. Because right off after he made that statement, the camera panned to them motherfuckers get ripped out of their shit to the elites, to even the and that's the spirit, because that's in the scriptures. Because the Lord said, every hand of the wicked shall be upon them, bro. And the laborers, because it was even just regular people, like The bellhop, that's what they call those individuals who like at the hotel, they take your bags and stuff. They call them a bellhop. Remember, because even in the Dark Knight, the bellhop, he was dragging the rich bitch out of the hotel. They worked. He was throwing that bitch in the street too, bro.
Remember they was bringing like the politicians and the
Yup.
bringing the court, they were judging them.
That's how it's gonna be, man. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna have no rule of law. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have different factions of people that control. You know what I'm saying? The different areas, man.
Get that precept where it said they're going to regard niggas.
That's a beautiful picture. I just sent something to the chat about the word democracy and its relevance to the topic. You know, I was doing some research about the word democracy, going back to ancient Greece, and it said that demos means of the people, and it's supposed to be a government, crazy, right? Ran by the people. You see what I'm saying? And the fact of the matter is really, truly not, man.
Right.
You know, they're not for the interest of the masses of the people, but rather for their own personal gain.
Right.
And so that's why, like the brother brought up the scripture, you know, every hand of the wicked, the laborers shall be upon them. This is the masses of the people, blue collar and even white collar workers that because you got IRS workers being laid off that's being affected by this government. Yeah. You got people, like you mentioned, the Teamsters. Remember Yellow Freight a year or two ago? Got laid off by the 30,000, by the thousands. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? There's gonna be a lot of more layoffs, man. So they're gonna have a common enemy soon coming, you know, and it's gonna be those that's in a position of power, man. Because that other word, which is closely related to demos, is daemon. All right, and that means going to demon.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
And just like you was quoting, Ira, how the laborers are gonna come against the elites, basically. This is from the movie The Dark Knight Rises. The Catwoman said, Bruce Wayne, she says, there's a storm coming, Mr. Wayne. You and your friends better batter down the hatches, because when it hits, you're all going to wonder how you ever thought you could live so large and leave so little for the rest of us.
Right, because how we know how to at least how they communicate with each other is through television. Mm-hmm. That's how they send these hidden symbolisms that they use.
Da Vinci codes.
Right. Only they know like the true meaning of certain phrases and things of that nature when they put these movies. But that quote is prophecy, man. Because people, like I said, they're gonna uprise against this place, man. Mm-hmm. And now that leads us to the scripture.
Real quick, because you're gonna talk about he who was voted in corn shall be hated. All right, so to make the people understand, people to be homeless and be hungry, man. You have more empty houses than you have homeless people in America. They throw over 100-something metric tons of food a year, and that's not even sport. That's like expiration date, you know. So there's a lot of money to be made, or a lot of money to be spread out. That's why, Elon Musk is appear to be doing something good. Yeah. That money is not really going to transfer to the average American person, man.
Nope.
You know.
Yeah, we had read this earlier in the GMTA. This is the KJV. 2 Corinthians 15 and 16. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power."
Got it. That's the poor overtaking the rich, right? And that's the class war we're going into. It's, like the elder Apostle Tahar said, it ain't going to be really race wars. It's going to be class wars. Now, of course, you're going to have different splinter groups doing what they do. But the main thing is going to be the class wars, the poor versus the rich, man.
And if I can add to y'all, you got people that's protesting against Tesla because of Elon Musk and the position that he holds with Donald Trump. You know, you got people he should actually go on the further extent that's see people driving Teslas and they actually going after, they pulling niggas over that's driving Teslas, cutting niggas off, and they attacking the people that's driving Teslas.
That's how I said, man. That shit like really propaganda. It's just fucking smoke mirrors, because I was telling the brother, I said the fucking Tesla got them right there by Tesla, Jamaica. The Tesla goddamn dealership ain't burnt up. And then you got a fucking Tesla charging station on 79th and fucking Euclid right there, right over there. It ain't burnt up. You know what I'm saying? Because that organization organization, that group right there was allegedly backed by George Soros. Because the name of the group is called Indivisible or something like that. And they was coming together. That shit is all. It's basically like what you call it? It's a you know, like a controlled family. You know how you say control?
Opposition.
No, not control. Yeah, that too. You can say that. But man, I seen that shit, man. When I seen that, I was like, well, why they ain't burn up the goddamn the Chargers?
Them niggas up
The
there.
Chargers spot on motherfucking 70 got 9 for Euclid, and then
Right.
and then the motherfucking Tesla dealership for Mayfield. I said, man,
You said he had a gun when you see him.
yeah, right, right.
Yeah, I got it.
I got one. It's Jeremiah 51, verse 6.
But that also goes to add to the point, to land back what Shamar was saying, that adds to the point of sedition. Because that's what it, you know, that's a part of the sedition. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have you know, one people for Trump, and then, you know, and then the Democrats, and you know, like the plebeians and the patricians, right? You know? We're about to wrap up anyway, you know what I'm saying?
Even the left is against Trump now. You know, he's pissing his people off. You know, so hey, it's beautiful. They keep bringing the destruction, man. Y'all got it. You got your precept?
Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draw nigh. One people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hand. So there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the force of their actions shall stand in their power. You know? That's backing up what the brother was saying, man. You know, these people gonna come against each other. Pressure from above, pressure from below. This is part of the Hegelian dialect, which is how these elites communicate and how they, one of their methods, I should say, how they do things. Pressure from above, meaning from the government, from
Powers that be.
the power, the established structure. Okay, the pressure coming from the established structure, and then the pressure from below, meaning the poverty. Things that affect the common people.
Yeah, it's like a press, like a wine press.
Right.
You know
Oppression.
Yeah, basically. There's this pressure from above, pressure from below. So whether they don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Whether you flee and have Hamlet or bear, like the parable in the scriptures, man. You know? But like I was saying with that sedition, that's a part of that sedition with those different organizations, with the niggas who want to burn up the Teslas, the people who are against billionaires, you know what I'm saying, like individuals who were elected to positions of government, but somehow, you know what I'm saying, which that's nepotism. Right. You know what I'm saying? You've been dealing with that, because you had Trump and Elon Musk, they've been friends. They both billionaires. Trump and Elon Musk, they was both in Iron Man. Right. You know what I'm saying? They both was, if I'm mistaken, Trump was in Iron Man, if I'm mistaken as well. I want to say he was. I could be wrong. But I know Elon Musk was. Elon Musk was definitely an Iron Man, bro. But them Edomites, they all grew up together, man. You know what I'm saying? They went to the same Boy Scout. And they went to the same private schools. And, you know? But that, like I said, that's a contributing factor to the sedition. You know what I'm saying? You know, one people shall stand against another. You know, swords in their hand. Go ahead.
This is Isaiah 19 and GNT and 2. The Lord says, I will stir up civil war in Egypt and turn brother against brother and neighbor against neighbor. Rival cities will fight each other and rival kings will struggle for power. Yeah,
you had that movie Civil War. And that's, the brother was mentioning about how the elites, how they communicate, you know what I'm saying? And the scripture says that they're going to be taken in the devices that they've imagined. So these different movies, and because a lot of these movies, they depict America getting blown up. Right. Red Dawn, and there's always an invasion, and this bitch getting blown up. That shit really going to happen. You know?
And it says the civil war for ChatGPT is a violent conflict between groups within the same country or state, often over political, ethnic, religious, or economic differences.
Right, because you actually had that happen in history before. The Civil War dealing with the North and the South, the red coats and the blue coats. Then you had the Revolutionary War. It was all ideologies and people having a mind frame of one group wanted to continue with slavery and the other group wanted to set the slaves free. You know what I'm saying? So those two opposing factors, you know what I'm saying, it grew and intensified to a war. To where actually motherfucking bullets was getting, you know what I'm saying, motherfuckers shooting bullets at each other, man. You know?
That's actually what it says.
I would say allegedly set them free. They emancipated them because they didn't want to give us true freedom, just made us employees.
No, yeah, that's what the Revolutionary War was about, though. When you go into the history of it, it was because of the Republicans and the North and the South, which there was Republicans and Democrats. The South was Republicans and they was more conservative, and then the North they was Democrats and they was more liberal. If I'm mistaken.
And it was a transfer of power from
private ownership to governmental ownership.
That was the battle. The government owns the slaves versus
private ownership. That's it.
It's the same way they regulate farming. You know, like you can't just be a farmer. You know, they got all these regulations. And shit,
and then that's the spirit we was talking about tariffs earlier. You know, where that's one of the things they influence people to buy local. Well, they don't want people to buy fucking local shit.
Right.
You
If
know,
they did, in the businesses overseas.
Exactly.
if you did want people to buy local shit, why was you paying these different farmers to destroy their crops?
Exactly. That's
Dump out the milk.
If you want to buy local, why would you allow them to have their own farms in their own house, in their own yard?
Right, why you gotta have a legislation and you gotta permit to sell this shit?
Right.
You know, why we need a permit to sell fucking, to sell oranges?
Right.
You know, and apples for it, you know? And different regulations, man.
It's all about the money.
It's all about the control and power. That's you know, because these niggas, they got the money, man. Money, power, respect. It's the key to life. Money, power, respect, what you need in life. Y'all got something? Right, wrap up anyway, man. You know, so hey, you know, with that, we pray this is edifying. We want to give all glory and praises to you. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, great millstone, rule well, shalom, Marcus, Allah, Bakia, Kwame, Shalom, Baba, Ball.
Shalom, Bible Ball.
Shalom, shalom.